Coming up on today's show, is there some turbulence? Is there disruption between the manager and the director? David Moyes and Tim Steidten reportedly have not seen eye to eye in terms of transfer targets over the last few days, which has caused uproar and leaves us in transfer limbo. And also, Gianluca Scamacca, could his West Ham career be nearing its conclusion with a move to Inter Milan? Likely. And James Ward-Prowse, will it happen? Will it not? All of that is coming next right here on West Ham Unofficial. But first, I just wanted to start with some thoughts from me. Now we are nearing the start of the Premier League season, and on social media, growing concerns, I think, are probably needed at the moment, as we are not in a current position to start the Premier League season. That's the bottom line. There's no denying that, and I'm worried. I'm going to be honest. I'm worried. I've gone on a cruise. I've come back, and we still haven't signed any players. We seem like we're still in cruise control. It seems like we're not too bothered about things, and somebody needs to give some sort of reality check here. We are 9 days away from playing Bournemouth away from home on the opening day of the Premier League season against Iraola, Bournemouth's new manager, and against a side that will be up for it and ready. And after that game, our fixture list is horrendous. In the next 6, we've got Luton in their first home game, Liverpool, City, Chelsea in there. We've got some not nice fixtures, to say the least. And we don't want to find ourselves after 7 games on 3 points, let's say, with a similar start to how we began last season, which puts ourselves already on the back foot before we've pretty much started. That's my concern. And just the overall lack of planning here. We've known that Declan Rice is going to leave the club for a long time. There's reports that we've known that Declan Rice is going to leave West Ham since last January. It didn't take it's not rocket science to work out he was going to leave the football club, and still we seem to find ourselves so incredibly underprepared for things. And we've got a system here that's set up for disaster. We've got Noble having his 2 pence worth. We've got Sullivan. We've got Moyes. We've got Steidten, all with completely different philosophies, all with completely different players that they want to sign. Trying to reach agreements is going to be just completely impossible, because you've got people there that have completely different ideas and have completely different styles of the player they want to sign. Moyes is very stubborn and will only sign the players that he wants. They are the complete opposite players to what Tim Steidten is offering him. Moyes wants to go down the route of Premier League proven, Ward-Prowse, Maguire, McTominay, those sort of players. But then Tim Steidten's giving Moyes players from different leagues who have got potential, young players that could come good in the future that have proved themselves in different leagues. And Moyes is just brushing it off and going, not interested. So at the moment, what's the point of bringing Tim Steidten in is a begging question that we're all asking, because it doesn't at the moment seem that the manager is listening to the technical director that we've brought in, which is not a good start to start with. And we've also got, how much money have we actually got here? We know we had about 30 million from Declan Rice straight off the bat. How much more have we got? Because currently, as things stand, we want Cresswell that wants to leave the club, who reportedly is refusing to train. We've got Scamacca that's probably going to leave the club. We've got Antonio that might leave the club. We've already let Lanzini and Rice go. There's 5 players that could be gone. A couple of them already have gone. And we need midfielders desperately. Yes, it would have been nice to sign a winger, but desperately, we need some midfielders. Currently starting the Premier League season, if nothing changes now, we've got Souček, Downs and Paqueta in the midfield 3. Paqueta, brilliant. Souček and Downs, I just don't think it's going to work. I'm going to be honest, I just don't think it is going to work. We need to sign a quality midfielder that's going to sit in front of that back 4, protect them as Rice has done in previous seasons, and just give ourselves that sort of give ourselves that peace of mind, knowing that we've got a solid midfield that isn't going to be run over. Because you take Rice out of that midfield now, and that midfield is vulnerable. It is just vulnerable, and there's and the concerns are completely valid, and I'm worried. I really am worried now. with the run of fixtures that we've got at the start of the season, with the unpreparedness that we seem to have at the moment. And the thing that's striking me is that there just doesn't seem to be any rush. I mean, there's no rush, is there? It's all right, don't worry about it, plenty of time yet. We've wasted however long, the transfer window's been open for at least a month now. I think end of June it opened. We've had over a month to start getting things done. And there's deals that we've just ballsed up in the end. We had Barnes that we ballsed up, Borges that we messed up, Palinia we bid 30 million under the asking price, Maguire we bid 20 million under the asking price, Ward-Prowse we've lowballed with bids, which we may still come back into. And we've bought in STEIDTEN, and MOYES rejected every target that he's offered. Just seems like one big mess has just been dumped at Rush Green, and we don't seem to have an answer for it at the moment. Let's take some of your comments. That's my thoughts. Had to get that off of my chest firstly. I hope you are a well player. Your comments. Let's see who you got in. Usual suspect, thanks for joining us. Happy Hammer, have you? Hey, Jakey, no, so it was very nice. You've missed Total Meltdown in the West Ham world. Don't worry, I haven't missed it. I've still seen it. And that's my piece there as well. Thank you very much indeed. Is it? Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Yeah, it is. Mark, you want to make the rest of the Premier League must be laughing at us. We've got Domino's Pizza taking the mick out of us on pizza. What on Twitter? What did they say? Hang on, or X, whatever it's called. Here we go. Domino's Pizza just had West Ham come in again and not buy anything. We're having the complete mick taken out of us. We're the only Premier League club that has not signed a player in this transfer window. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but I'm still baffled that we're doing this. Honestly, it's just exactly. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much indeed. Happy Amarit says, I have a strange bit of optimism that we will get a couple of new players in by the 1st of September. Doesn't help us for the first few games, but I'm sure they will pull it out the bag. I mean, there's that, yeah. I have got that sort of hope in the back of my mind that we have to sign some players. We can't sign nobody, surely. But again, we're putting ourselves on the back foot by not signing players before the start of the season. Yes, we've got the transfer window for another month yet. I think, 1st of September it shuts. But if we sign 2 players on deadline day, we've already had 5 games of the season. They have to take 3 weeks to bed in before they can be anywhere near fitness, no doubt. And then all of a sudden we're into October and we're bottom of the league. That's what could happen. That's exactly what could happen. Terry says, I'm available for £4 plus all the hot dogs I can eat. Get Terry in the midfield. I'll join in there as well. Cornet is like a new signing now. He's fit, and Mubama should hopefully get some game time. I'm confident a little bit. Your optimism, Happy Emirates. So do I. But Happy Emirates says, usual, don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I'm usually right about these things. Well, hopefully you are. But yeah, I'm struggling at the moment. I am. I'm struggling to find any sort of positives out of what's going on, because there isn't. I mean, we've let Lanzini go, and he's now gone to River Plate, his boyhood club. Fantastic. I'm absolutely delighted for him, but I wish we kept him for another year, because he's still got a hell of a lot to offer. I still felt he had something to offer with Europe, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Premier League. We're going to be playing north of 55-60 games again this season, and this squad at the moment, I mean, it's just not ready whatsoever. These players are going to be completely off their feet. We've letting Potts go as well. We've got 2 or 3 midfielders. That's it. We've got 3 midfielders. We've got 1 right winger. I suppose Cornet could go out there, but I'm just struggling. I am struggling. Right, let's move on to some actual news. I'm going to start with MOYES and STEIDTEN that I have touched upon on my little monologue there. So various reports suggest MOYES and STEIDTEN aren't agreeing over transfer targets, leaving West Ham in transfer limbo just 9 days from the start of the Premier League season. It just follows on from what I was saying a little bit earlier on. I cannot understand why, as a football club, we thought it was a good idea to bring in Tim STEIDTEN, a technical director who, don't get me wrong, I'm not criticising his ability to scout good players, his ability to offer good players to the football club, because I'm sure he has offered plenty of very good, very attacking, very sought after players. I'm sure he's gave Moyes a long list that Moyes has just completely disregarded. And could somebody have not thought of this before we brought this geezer in? He's obviously a guy that portrays and tries to convey an attacking style of football, which, if you haven't already noticed, is not going to happen under David Moyes. You've got 2 different styles of football clashing heads currently. with no agreement being met. You know, there was rumours that Moyes was with Steidten last night at the Emirates to watch the Emirates Cup, where Monaco played Arsenal, and they were and they were scouting somebody called Declan Rice. Never heard of him, but no, they were scouting Yusuf Fofana. I didn't watch the game, but apparently he did well. He scored a goal, and he is on the transfer midfield target list that we could be, anytime soon. There's no rush, West Ham. Anytime you feel like getting going, then crack on. That we're, all these buzzwords come out from the journalists. We're looking into a deal. We're edging closer. If you don't laugh, you cry, do you? But it just feels like we've got two completely opposing sort of views trying to work together, and it's just not working. It doesn't take the world's most intelligent man to realize that it wouldn't work, that two people with completely different philosophies trying to sign players, they're going to disagree. Yes, they are going to disagree, because they think about things in a completely different way, which is okay. Everybody's allowed their own perception of football. Everyone's allowed their own style of play. Don't get me wrong. But West Ham don't go and appoint a technical director who's got completely different views to the manager, because the manager's just going to do what he's doing exactly at this moment in time, and declining, rejecting, disregarding every single target that's being chucked at him, because Moyes has already highlighted he wants Premier League proven players. There's no coincidence in the players that we're being linked with, that we're putting bids in for. We're hearing McTominay, Maguire, James Ward-Prowse. They're Premier League proven players that Moyes feels like he can trust after last year's sort of start of season debacle by bringing in loads of players from different leagues that didn't gel quickly. That's what Moyes wants to sort of swerve away from this year by going, right, I want Premier League proven players. But then that's not what Steiden's offering him. So we're paying Steiden to do pretty much nothing at the moment. Make it make sense. Only at West Ham. Only at West Ham. Right then, let's take some more of your comments. Happy Hammer says the club have made such a hash out of this window, but it's not over till Fat Sam sings. Dear. Multitasking, of course you are, Terry. You're very talented multitasking. Well, yeah, the ladies have made, ex-Spurs manager. I know. What's going on? The woman have appointed the ex-Spurs manager as their new manager. Come on. For goodness sake, play the game, West Ham, play the game. But at least they made some signings, unlike us, for goodness sake. We've let players go. We're going to let more players go. It seems like Cresswell's just, is just given up. So Cresswell's going to Wolves or anywhere because he's not trained so far with the team. So he looks like he's going out the door, which leaves us Emerson at left back. So at the moment, it's all going swimmingly, isn't it? It's all going well towards the start of the season. Right, let's move on. Next up, Fabrizio Romano is reporting Inter Milan are confident of getting a deal done for Scamacca with a deal worth 25 million euros plus add-ons for the Italian international. This is something that we've probably all expected over the last few weeks. He didn't have a great season last year, did he, Gianluca Scamacca? He didn't really gel in. Injuries didn't help things, but a move was always going to be on the cards. He never seemed to happy at West Ham, and again another failed striker under this regime, another striker that hasn't done his job properly under this regime. That list is ever growing every season, and the frustrating part of it is that we've waited to sign a striker. We waited 2.5 years to sign a striker, then we finally sign one. We're like, right, brilliant, he's going to be the one. And again, it's the same old story. We've signed Danny Ings as well, that plays a completely different style of football to what Moyes wants to play. You can tick that box again as a reoccurring sort of element to this, isn't there? That we keep signing players and staff and management that don't fit into the style that Moyes wants to play, which is just a complete recipe for disaster. I'm trying to find some positives here, but I'm struggling. I really am. Paqueta, that's the Paqueta and Bowen are probably the only positives here. Players that we know are going to go out, and if anybody is going to hold this team together, it's going to be Paqueta, isn't it, in that midfield? But he needs help. He's not Superman. He needs help. He needs a quality player in there, and Souček isn't that. I'm sorry, he's not. He did play well, and he did play well when Rice wasn't there in the last couple of years, Souček. But I'm not holding out in that sense with too much hope. But He can prove me wrong, Souček, but Souček's not at the moment, going off last season, going to give Paqueta much help. So we need to sign some players. It's not rocket science, West Ham. Please just go out there and pay the money. You know, we messed up the deal for Borges because we didn't want to pay the agent fee. And, you know, people have said it's a funny thing when it's not the sort of agents that are, that are close to Sullivan, things get done. But then when we go and try and sign a player with a different agent, no, we can't pay that agent fee. Just pay the money. Why? What's the issue? If the issue with Borges was an agent fee and we didn't want to pay it, that's pathetic. I'm sorry, it's absolutely pathetic. We need to get deals done. We need to get players through this door. Otherwise, we're only headed one way because we currently have a squad that is not fit for purpose. We've got a manager that is going to play a style of football which is going to be boring next season. You know, if you're expecting attacking football next season, go somewhere else because you're not going to get it here. We're going to drag out for 1-0s. We're going to park the bus. And yes, I expect that. I'm not bothered about that as long as we get the results. But at the moment, I don't know whether it's Moyes being hung out to dry, whether Moyes is hanging himself out to dry by not signing players and being reluctant, with players being offered to him. But nobody's doing anybody any favours here by just sort of milling around, not signing anybody and not really having any panic buttons, let's go, before the start of the season. And it just seems like we're strolling into the start, we're strolling into the Vitality Stadium on the 12th of August and expect to win. It's going to be a difficult game. New manager, new regime for Bournemouth, second season in the Premier League. They'll be up for it for sure. And I just hope to God that we are up to it as well. All right, then, let's take some of your comments then. Terry says, I actually typed multitasking, so clearly not. I'm breathing and laughing at the same time. Does that count? It does. It does. Happy Hammer says, I do think the board could put a statement out to calm the speculations going mental, though if anything is not true, wouldn't would it? That's impressive. Perry, and mind you, are blinking as well. Exactly. Terry is as sharp as a flint. Now, that is a quotation from A Christmas Carol. Hang on. I had to write 6 pages about that. Hard and sharp as flint. That was a quotation. You've just quoted Dickens, Dad, and you had absolutely no idea you did so. Well done. Well done. Happy Amrit says, I think we would get James Ward-Prowse for £35 million, which is a hefty amount of money, but much needed than a couple of younger players, more like punt players, to get the team motivated. I do agree. James Ward-Prowse is coming up next. We will talk about him very shortly. Happy Amrit says, I really want Alonso next season as manager. He has turned down offers for a new contract. And Moyes is staying. Don't. He's staying. He's going absolutely nowhere. Right, next up, James Ward-Prowse then to finish things off, so I can give you voice of rest. It's hard talking for 17 minutes straight. And go again. West Ham have lodged several bids for James Ward-Prowse. They've all been rejected from the Saints. A bid worth £30 million was reportedly the final straw for West Ham, but we've heard re-enter negotiations. Journalists in the nose have said that it wouldn't be a surprise if we went in just with another bid to sort of get it somewhere near what Southampton are currently asking for in their asking price. And people have sort of went, Southampton, they're asking for £40 million. That's awful. They can ask for what they like. They can ask for absolutely what they like. There's no good moaning about it. We asked for what we wanted for Declan Rice and we got it. So we can't then go back and say it's ridiculous how much they're valuing him at. They can value him at whatever they like. And it's the same with Pedinha. These clubs know we've got money. And our transfer strategy is ridiculous. Bidding £30 million sometimes under what they want and then slowly going up, expecting some sort of compromise to be met by the football club that don't really want to sell the player. It's just baffling. If we want to sign these players, we just need to put the money on the table. It's not difficult. We're not at a stage now where we can negotiate for £2 or £3 million. We're at a stage where we need to sign players. And if it means spending some money, David Sullivan, then you are going to have to spend it, mate, because otherwise your share price is going to go a hell of a lot down at this rate. And James Ward-Prowse is a player that at this moment of time I would take. It's a player that I've sort of went, at throughout this transfer window. But at this current moment in time, I take him. If we have to pay £35 million, just pay it. Just absolutely pay it. We spoke to Francis Bernardi, former Southampton player, on the cruise last week. He was there, and he sort of said he's settled. he said he'd stay in Southampton, but if a bid came in for a Premier League club, it wouldn't surprise me if he left. But Southampton are staying firm, and to be honest, I don't blame them, because the player isn't kicking off. The player doesn't really want to leave the football club. He's not desperate to leave Southampton. By all accounts, he likes it down there, and he would be prepared to stay on the south coast. But if a bid comes in good enough, Southampton will accept it. So we just need to put that on the table. We need to re-enter and go, right, what do you want, Southampton? We want 35 plus 5 million add-ons. There we go, done. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Just get these deals done, West Ham. And James Ward-Prowse could be a valuable asset to us next season. We could, again, turn into the ultimate set-piece team with James Ward-Prowse on our side. And he would make things flow defensively and attackingly as well, which is probably what we need at this current moment in time. Curtis, thanks for joining us. Terry says James Ward-Prowse will do a job, but his resale value will be 0. I don't rate Zachariah much. Alvarez was the one I was keen on. Yeah, there's still Alvarez and Fofana. There's murmurings about those sort of players, but at the moment, James Ward-Prowse is probably the most likely. I would take him, and he's going to fit into Moyes' Premier League proven mould. So he will probably be playing him pretty soon. There won't be we've got to bed him in, all this crap. Hopefully, you'd like to think he'd go straight in. But Graham Potter already won. Moyes ain't leaving. He's not leaving until we've lost 7 out of our first 8 games. It's your boy Dan says news that Zachariah is going to Monaco. However, Steidten and Moyes apparently went to the Arsenal game yesterday, so he could put a bid in for Fofana. Yeah, that is the report. I have seen that as well. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, Dan, that Fofana could be an avenue that we could go down. Apparently, he impressed last night in the Emirates Cup game against Arsenal, so that could be something to keep an eye on as well. Oh, excuse me. Happy Hamrat says at least Pellegrini got injured, otherwise we'd still be we'd be bidding 52 million, 54 million, 56 million. Like a transfer version of A Place in the Sun. A Place in the Sun. Oh dear. Fofana would be brilliant, but can this club offer him enough to lure him here? Yeah, I don't know. Is it debatable given the state of it? True. True. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I know James Ward-Prowse has no sell-on value, but aside from Rice, have any of our players in recent times? No. To be honest, that doesn't really interest me too much. If we're going to get a player, it's going to be of some quality. Let's take him. Let's get him signed up at this moment in time. There we go. That is a transfer news show. Dan, thank you very much indeed for watching. I will go through one last time what we have discussed. Various reports suggest Moyes and Steidten aren't seeing eye to eye. They are not agreeing on transfer targets, leaving West Ham in transfer limbo just 9 days away from the start of the Premier League season down at Bournemouth on the south coast, with us currently in a state of unpreparedness. Fabrizio Romano is reporting Inter Milan are confident of getting a deal for Scamacca done of around 25 million euros plus add-ons for the Italian international by reports, who is currently not best pleased with his stay in East London. West Ham have lodged several bids for James Ward-Prowse, all that have been rejected from the Saints. A bid worth £30 million was reportedly the final straw for West Ham, with us expected to walk away from the deal and leave it at that. But journalists have reported that it wouldn't surprise them if West Ham did re-enter negotiations there we go, for one last time to try and get James Ward-Prowse to West Ham and to the London Stadium. There we go. Hopefully we can have some better news coming in the next couple of days. It's my birthday tomorrow, so I don't think you will see it tomorrow. You never know. If something happens, I might turn up with something. But yeah, I will not be here tomorrow. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching from me. Come on, you irons, and we will just finish off with a couple of comments. Bottom at Christmas, 0 points, no presents under the tree. Mr. New smashed off her head on Bailey's. Hashtag Moyes out. Terry, don't forget it's my birthday tomorrow, not the 13th, mate. Very little food today. Looking forward to the big steak later, Jay. Don't worry. I haven't even had any lunch yet. I will have a bit of lunch in a minute. But yeah, steak later, tacos tomorrow. Lovely jubbly. Happy Thursday to all of you out there. Don't forget, we are champions of Europe. We certainly are. Cheers, Jakey. Missed your shows. Happy birthday for tomorrow. Nice little signing for your budget. Imagine if we signed a player tomorrow on my birthday. I would be absolutely buzzing. Thank you very much. It doesn't matter, Terry. It does not matter one bit. From us, come on your irons, and we'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. You never know, a miracle might happen. We might sign a player today, tomorrow, the next day. Who knows? We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.